Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome. Thanks for coming. My name's Guy Johnson. I'm Third Light's Training Manager, and I'm really happy to welcome you to the webinar on controlling your brand with Chorus and ROI360. We'll be introducing ROI360 over this webinar today, and there's a number of different things that we'll be covering. So just to give you a heads up to the agenda, shortly I'm going to be handing over to David from ROI360, who's then going to talk about the integration between our two platforms. Obviously, Chorus is that digital storage solution, based around the access and roles and permissions of your site and your digital files. And then, of course, ROI360 is a templating solution, and David will go into much more detail on that, followed by an actual demonstration of the system itself and an actual client example from Diabetes UK, who are a mutual customers of both of ours. We'll talk about next steps, and we'll even have time for any questions that you might have. So just in terms of introducing who ROI360 are, I think, we're really happy to have come to this partnership. And the idea behind it is Third Light and ROI360 do have a shared mission, and we help marketing and creative teams globally to put time back into their busy lives every day. And in terms of Chorus, as I say, that single point of truth, streamlining your content workflows, allowing you to build different spaces with different permissions, metadata, etc., to help you create, store, manage, and control all of your brand assets. And what we'll be looking at today in detail is how you can then use ROI360 to help manage the production of marketing artwork quickly and at scale. So before I hand over to David, giving just a quick overview of who they are and why we're entering into this partnership. It's a complementary technology. As I said, you've got Chorus as that single point of truth for all of your files. And then once you've got access to those, you can use ROI360 to create the different marketing materials you need to. We've already got 4 existing mutual customers, and that's how these conversations begun. And this led to regular requests from both sides for each other's competencies. And this is where we've led to today. And we're both based in Cambridgeshire. So as I say, thank you very much for coming in at this point. I'm going to hand over to David.
Thanks, Guy. Appreciate that. So hello, everyone. So obviously I'm Dave from ROI, and I've been providing marketing technology to marketing teams for, over 10 years now. What I always like to do when explaining sort of why we exist is just go through a little scenario of some of the typical challenges that we help solve that central marketing teams face on a daily basis that we see. So yeah, if you can imagine, right, you're managing the marketing function, whether it's part of a charity or another organization, and as the go-to central for everything artwork and creative and marketing, you're often getting hit with a lot of different requirements, whether it be from your internal staff or regional fundraisers, distributors, or even office locations, and everyone within that network on a more and more frequent basis want to be able to create more marketing. So on that daily, weekly, monthly basis, we see an awful lot of operational marketing requests that are coming into central marketing teams. And essentially what this is doing is it's actually stopping you from executing strategic marketing projects. So if I was to just sort of deep dive on to what a typical operational marketing request looks like, it often has a lot of the same effort that a large strategic project needs to have as well. So as you can see on screen, this is a typical operational marketing request that we see that comes in from your network, and it often starts off with an idea all the way through to an internal request, and then multiple people are getting involved in discussing how turning that idea into an actual piece of artwork. Then, it goes through to the design stage. And then, of course, we see the dreaded revision stage where pieces of artwork have loads of different versions before finally, it might actually then go through to production and out into the ether. So what we then see is, things, because obviously, without tools like Chorus and ROI, this marketing process is often very slow, very manual, and can be quite costly. And essentially, it takes too much touch time, too much lead time, and that gap between someone within your network saying, hey, I want to create something, for it to then being executed is a very, very old school process. And that's essentially why, we exist, and why, we come along with a new artwork solution. And just to be clear, where we specifically fit is, we help organizations that have this vast network of people that need access to marketing. We come along with a very easy to use ROI marketing portal. So if you think, people like your staff, your fundraisers, franchisees, whatever your network looks like, we give them an easy to use platform where they can now come along, self-serve and create routine marketing artwork without the need to come through to you centrally and go through that cumbersome process that we just sort of talked about a moment ago. And the way that we do this, we do this by hosting a whole different suite of marketing artwork onto the tool. And that could be anything from, like posters to creating social media content, all the way through to merchandise. And we put all of those materials onto an easy to use portal that's all on brand, and most importantly, allows you to completely keep control over everything that's being created onto the system, which of course, we'll go into it in a moment. So that's a little bit about why we exist and what we do. And again, just to sort of double down, really, there's a lot of different reasons to why brands and organizations use us and the benefits that they get from approaching routine marketing in this new way. So, anyone really that's ever bought a system from ROI has had one or more of these problems that you can see on screen. And again, we'll go through some of these benefits in more detail during the demo. Ultimately, we're here to help, save time and money by reducing that lengthy process, that old school process like we talked about, whilst ensuring that we are doing things like protecting the brand, guaranteeing compliance, empowering your network to be able to do a better job with highly targeted marketing, and most importantly, get to market quicker and get those products and services being promoted a lot quicker. So, of course, we're gonna show a demo, and we're gonna go do that now. And we've got two examples that we're going to go through. So 2 customer examples. So one being diabetes, which in a moment I'm going to hand over to Guy just to sort of set the scene about diabetes, just while I get set up. And then the other one is also going to be another one of our clients that don't have the 2 systems linked together, but we'll just show you a reason as to why they purchase the system and the benefits they're getting out of it. And we're also going to show our demo site that we have, which is based on a fictional gym chain. But that'll be something that you'll be able to get access to away from the session today. So, Guy, over to you. If you just want to set the scene on diabetes.
Thank you very much. So, as David's getting ready for the demonstrations, I think just to set the scene as on a mutual customer of ours. So, Diabetes UK obviously, spoke to us about finding that single source of truth for all of their digital content. But of course, as a charity with, all sorts of marketing requirements across the country, it's been a really interesting use case. So for Sylvia, Senior Creative Manager at Diabetes UK, as you can see on screen, Chorus and ROI360 combined have completely transformed their marketing operations. And I think those key points are around, that instant access to the assets they need and to be able to create on-brand materials instantly, as you're about to see with David. And I think just to really hit home on that key point that, the thought of going back to doing things manually for them is a complete non-starter. And I think for all of our mutual customers, that has been the case. So, just to set the scene as a customer of both Third Light and ROI360 that have had, a really good response to the implementation of our systems.
Cool. Thanks for that, Guy. So just bear with me. I'm just going to share my screen again. Hopefully that comes through now. Is that showing all right? Brilliant stuff. So yeah, like I say, we're going to go through a couple of client examples that you can see on screen here. So again, we've got Bluebird Care here on screen, which I'll set the scene in a minute. Also our fictional gym chain demo, which is Oracle Gym that you'll have access to. And then of course, we're going to go through diabetes and discuss the integration between Chorus and ROI and the benefits that they get over and above using an ROI portal. But just to start off with Bluebird Care. So just to set the scene, Bluebird Care are a franchise providing health and social care services to the elderly and vulnerable within their homes. And they have 200 office locations up and down the country. And the reason why we like to show Bluebird Care is because they're a really good use case of the technology. So much so, the reason why they actually invested in the technology is because they had that typical challenge that we spoke about a few slides back of having a vast network of 200 locations, but with a really finite marketing resource. So if you can imagine all those requests that were coming in on a frequent basis, it was really hard for them to be able to sort of support their network. So like I say, we then came along with an ROI portal. And some of the benefits that they've had since adopting the technology has been great, so much so they actually currently save around £16,000 a month on artworking costs, because again, they don't need unnecessary artworking fees now with freelance designers or agencies. And since the portal's been adopted across their network, we now see roughly around 300 bits of on-brand artwork being created every single month, which is really, really great. So I'll now go into just sort of show you their system and how it works. So if you can imagine now, we're now logged in as one of the office locations up and down the country. Say we're based in Bedford, and the system knows who I am and can present me the view that's only applicable to me. So this is a great way of ensuring that sort of locations are only creating assets that they have approval for. As you can see, the sites are always fully branded to match the look and feel of the brand. Because again, it's important to make users feel familiar when using the system. And again, what we've then done with this system when we set it up is we actually went with a nice sort of theme-based approach when structuring this site. So now that when a user logs in, they instantly know that where they can find the right template based on the theme that they're trying to create, right? So whether it is a recruitment drive that they want to do in their local area, these 5 templates here will give them everything they need for that. Or let's just say you wanted to produce a piece of artwork and marketing that's promoting the general products and services that they do, then these 7 templates here that you can see on screen give their users exactly what they need. Now, just quickly flicking to the Oracle Gym example, just to show you sort of 2 different themes and 2 different ways that sites are set up. We set the Oracle Gym site up with a more application-based approach, so users can find anything to do with marketing, stationery or social under these different themes. But the point is we tailor the look and feel and the structure of the site based around you and your network's needs. So let's go in and create a product and show you how easy it is to create some on-brand marketing. So, I want to go along and create an advert, like I say, in my local area to promote some services. And when I choose that template, it takes me into the editing area where I can then go through and start to customize this template. So like I say, we were based in Bedford, so I can make that selection there, and then that will start to edit the template. Now, the reason why I'm making a selection in this scenario is because actually in Bluebird's world, you may actually have a manager that's responsible for 5 different locations. So they need the flexibility to choose different locations. But if, for example, you were just based in one location, the system's actually clever enough in order to pre-populate that. So again, we're making it very easy for the user with less things to have to type in to create their artwork. So yeah, now all we're essentially doing, we exist to de-skill the artworking process for your non-art workers and marketeers, right? So it's really important that we make it super easy. So all we're doing is we're filling in this form here on the left-hand side and seeing the preview update as we go. So if you keep an eye on this right-hand side here, if I want to come along and change the logo, then you'll start to see some changes there. We can go in, of course, it's already pre-populated those details where we are, just in case. But what I'll do now is I'll just, if I needed to change the phone number or overtype, we can do that. Then there is an inbuilt image library that users can actually select from. So this will allow a user to come along and choose from a pre-approved image. Now, because Bluebird Care don't actually have Chorus currently, they actually have to manually manage their images within ROI. But obviously what we're going to show you in the diabetes example, where they've actually linked the two systems together, how we can actually streamline that process and provide some extra benefits with managing assets. So we'll cover that bit in a moment. So once I'm happy with the image, again, if I want to come along and change the quotes, I can do so. We can provide layout choices. So again, users can actually, they didn't want that quote to be top left and blocking the mirror, that we can change that to bottom left. These templates can be opened up or as locked down as they need to be, obviously based on what you want to allow your users to be able to customize for their local area. And then again, we've got some text options here. Now I'll show you on the Oracle Gym example, a different template that has more of a open flexibility around text and how that behaves in a moment. But here you can see that there's actually character counts, so it'll stop me from over-typing over 100 characters in this particular scenario. But again, that doesn't have to be switched on if you wanted to allow more users to have more flexibility. And then lastly, we can come in and select a CQC logo for Bluebird Care. So that's the editing done. And obviously, if I wasn't waffling on, within a few minutes, you can see that I've created some highly professional on-brand artwork within minutes, which is the point. And then lastly, I can select how I want it to output as well, right? So, it may be that I want it as a JPEG, so it's going to go out onto the web, or actually it may be that I want it as a PDF because I'm going to print it off at home. Or again, if it needs to go to a professional printer, we can have things like crops and bleeds all applied to the professional print output as well. So we give the user the choice to select how it outputs. And then lastly, it asks the user to just confirm that they have checked everything that they've put in there. Again, this sort of covers off the whole compliance guardians that we do through the software. And just to take that a next level further, we can also do things like approval processes. So if I was to go and order this, it would then ask someone in central marketing to approve it before it goes through. So hopefully that just sort of shows you a customer example, how easy it is to, how we empower them to create artwork. We have seen a massive uptake in brands use our technology to create artwork for social media channels. So I'm just going to show you on this Oracle Gym example how we can take something like a social media template and create it. So now if we were to imagine that I am the manager of the Cambridge branch of the Oracle Gym in Cambridge, I want to create some social media content. As you can see, this starts out as a Facebook header, but actually I want to create something for Instagram. So when I make that selection, it will actually change the orientation of the actual template itself. So again, I don't have to worry about the dimensions of an Instagram square or anything like that. I just select what I need. I can go through and choose a color under the brand guidelines. You've seen how images work, and we'll talk about that a little bit more on the diabetes demo. And then, of course, I can go through and then I can start to write in some text here. So if I wanted to just write a message, so calm down, try your local Oracle Gym today. You will have a great time. So here we go. I'll just type that in there, and then you can start to see that when I start to type things in there, it will then show up on the template. Now, if I was to over type on here, the more I type, you'll actually see that the way that we handle text is how a designer would if they were to essentially look at creating this piece of artwork. And we have what's called flex that we apply to artwork. So all of these elements on these templates know how to shrink and behave the more and more you type. And that's how we can help sort of de-skill the artworking process and automate that for your users. So again, on this example now, I've created an on-brand piece of artwork within minutes. And again, I then can add it into the basket and order the thing like you would expect to easily order anything online nowadays. or again, I can also download the artwork straight away if I need to. So hopefully that just gives you a little bit of an idea of how the system works with a couple of brands. But of course, the main thing that we're here to talk about is the integration between the two. So I'm now on the diabetes site, and I am, let's say I'm a fundraiser. And what I want to do is I want to go forward and create a piece of artwork in their world. So let's go and create a poster, and this generic poster. Now, obviously, what you saw on the Bluebird example was being able to choose images and then placing them with the template. Now, what this is doing, this is actually taking it one step further. Obviously, everyone on this call is a Chorus user. So one of the things that we're able to do now is pull assets from your Chorus system into this template, right? So like Guy mentioned, Chorus is going to act as that single source of truth. And what's great about this is it's all permissions based. So people that have more permissions on Chorus to see certain asset folders will actually see that reflected when they go to look up an asset. So for example, let's go and choose that now. So as you will see, I've got the ability to now select from Chorus. So when I click select from Chorus, it now will present me with the media library. Now this media library folder is available to everyone. And as a sort of fundraiser user, they're the permissions that I have. Now, in a second, I'll show you a senior marketing user and what their permissions look like and the more assets that they have. So again, just to talk about scenario, let's say I want to create a poster promoting a very nutritional meal for diabetics. I can then go through into the media library, choose the food category, select the subcategory, and then it's going to now present me with all of the images that are relevant to me based on the permissions that I have. So everyone loves a Parma ham salad. So we'll select that image. And what this is doing, like I say, is it's now pulling that asset from Chorus into the virtual clipboard within ROI. And then we've got the choice to either use that image natively, or actually I can then go and crop that image and edit that image as well, because I may want to actually emphasize that image. So if I use this crop selection there, it won't actually place that straight into the template, but then I can choose between the two. So let's go and use that selection. So as you can see, it's now placed that within the library, which is great. And again, just another thing to mention as well, we also have controls to say that we can clean up image assets as well. So users can't use the same asset again and again. So again, that Chorus being that single source of truth is really, really key. And it also ensures that your network as well are not going to be producing the same type of stuff, and it keeps things fresh whilst also keeping control as well, which is really, really key. So what I'm going to quickly do now is just go and show you what it looks like from a senior marketing. So if I now go in, I'm now logged in as Sylvia, who's a senior marketing user. I can go through to that same poster. And then when I get through to selecting an image, I select from Chorus, you will now see that I have more permissions. So it's now serving me up the ability to go and then access more assets as well. So hopefully that makes sense in terms of how this sort of enhances the offering with obviously being able to control your assets within Chorus and then also put them to good use within ROI. So I just want to sort of take this opportunity really to double down onto why it's important to use both. So as you know, obviously Chorus is amazing at storing and managing assets and controlling who can see what and who can have access to what. But with combining this with ROI, what you're doing is you're enabling those assets to work harder, right? You're now putting those assets into the hands of certain users that can now go off and do marketing at a local level and really, really put them to use. But all whilst ensuring that all of those other benefits that ROI bring to the table also come into play, right? By controlling brand consistency across a broader level, because you're now being able to control the artwork side with ROI whilst controlling the content side with Chorus. And ultimately, what we expect to see, that people that link the two together will do a lot more marketing for a lot lower cost and reduce the management time that traditionally we see in the artwork process. So if you think, sort of how many of those great assets you have stored in Chorus at the moment are not being put to use, could you be empowering your users to really go and create some great marketing and push more products and services? So hopefully that all made sense. I'm actually going to hand back over to Guy in a second. Let me just on the screen. Can you see my screen now, Guy? So over to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I mean, obviously, ladies and gents, you've seen a number of different demonstrations there, but I think, the key point, being the flexibility and I think the time saved and ability to create marketing materials at scale quickly. And I think, dealing as we do with people that are responsible for all of the marketing material, I think the peace of mind alone to ensure that things are on point, on brand, and freely available is an excellent thing. So really just wanted to say thank you all very much for coming. We obviously would, we've got a couple of questions that have come in. So I'll reference those in a second. The first one being in terms of queries on pricing, just, as we always say on a Third Light webinar, and it's actually the same for ROI, it's all on respective websites, and certainly, on the pricing section of Third Light, everything's there. And on ROI360, we'd encourage you to go and try the demo. The gym chain example that was used today, you can go and try that for yourself. Thoroughly encourage you to go and do that. But feel free, absolutely free to contact me on the details provided if there's any follow-up questions. I have had a couple of others come through, and I think just in the interests of time, we're not going to be able to answer all of these now, but I do promise you that I'll come back to you afterwards via email or Dave, depending on who the question's from and in relation to which products. And also, it's a webinar. I appreciate you guys are all busy. So if anyone wasn't actually able to attend today, not a panic. We'll be sending out a recording to follow up. And as I say, we'll look to follow up with any questions that we've not been able to answer today. So, again, Dave, welcome. Thank you so much for the demonstration. And thank you everyone for coming. We look forward to doing another webinar in the not too distant future between us. So stay tuned for more information on that. And in the meantime, thank you very much and take care, and we'll speak to you again soon.
Cheers.
Thank you.